welcome back to a freshly squeezed episode of the Flowscape podcast. There is so much to talk about today. Crazy Game 7s, coach firings, no pun intended, the Ottawa marijuanas. It is knucking futz. But before we check in with the boys, quick format update for any new listener. Every episode, you will always get me, and it will always be a consistent rotation of either Spencer, Mason, and AJ, sometimes two, sometimes one. Sometimes there's fun for everyone. We never know. And obviously when I go play in Israel this summer, I will be bringing the podcast setup with me, and we will be bringing you tons of content, including YouTube videos, tons of interviews. It's going to be absolutely National League when I am over there. That being said, there is no time to waste. With me today is Spencer and AJ. So let's check in with the pals, and we will go to you first. AJ, what is going on, buddy?
Not much. It's finally warm for several days in a row. It was in the 70s today, so we were just doing stuff outside.
I'm sure the weather in Whitefish is getting pretty nice.
Yeah, all the boats are out now, so got to figure out how to buy a boat.
Are either of you two golfing? Are you golfing, Spencer?
I haven't been yet.
We'll just check in with Spencer. AJ's not golfing. We'll check in with Spencer. Spencer, are you golfing?
No, we got progressively hotter and saw some sun, but now we're back to rain this week. So golf courses dried out maybe last week, so I might play Thursday, but we'll see.
Now we have to discuss it real quick, just because it happened, and I did have my best ever round yesterday. I shot a 78. We need to discuss the factors, because I need to be honest about all the factors, so that
AJ, he texted me. He goes, I drove the green. It's a par 4. It was 250
I know. He told me that
No.
he was playing from like the freaking whites.
No. It was.
I was like, I can't even pull my driver out on that. I'm not hit a 3-wood.
The par 4, it was not 254 yards. Like I said, it was uphill. It was probably playing 280, 285. That being said, it is summer, spring golf in Texas. The ball will run. That being said, here are all the factors. Hadn't played in 2 weeks, so I said, fuck it, I'm playing from the whites. I'm not dealing with that bullshit. Other thing, it is a municipal course, so it's not very hard. It was like a last-minute tee time, so not really, other than bunkers, there's no really challenges if you keep your ball in play. That being said, I did not know this. It is going under renovation in October. So a lot of the tee boxes were moved forward, moved to different sides. Like they were angled. I've played the course before, and I was hitting off tee boxes at angles that I was like, this is weird and much easier. I will be honest. So there is that factor as well. But those are the only factors. And I did live and die. I did take 2 mulligans, one on the front, one on the back. That is when I first started playing golf. That is the main rule that I live and die by, that I learned from Spencer sitting here himself. Those are all the factors. Played from the whites. Not a hard course to begin with. Being renovated in October, so it made it even easier.
Did you use a remote control putter? How'd you?
Fuck you.
No, I'm calling into question these tee boxes. I think that it's probably a par 65.
Again, we won't. I don't know what it turned it into. The longest, though, I will be honest. The longest hole was a par 5 at 535. That was the longest hole of the day. So
yeah, it's a decent sized par 5.
Yeah, and I will also be honest. The longest par 3 was 150 on the dot. So there wasn't any par 3s. I wasn't hitting anything over an 8-iron. So that also. So there's different factors, but nonetheless, 78. It will not happen again for a decade, I'm sure. And I actually need to do it on a course worth a damn.
AJ, did they open the course in Whitefish yet?
To be honest, I don't know. They were supposed to on the 15th of April, and I haven't driven up there yet. I'm avoiding it because I can't go yet.
When it's golf season, you don't just sit on your porch like a goon. You get your ass out there and you find that fucking dog, AJ. Go see if the course is open.
Yeah, I just have not had time. I have a whole family here.
Speaking of not worth a damn and not a whole lot of time, and someone who's going to have a whole lot of time is Daryl Sutter. He has been let go in Calgary as the head coach. I actually
Sent back
was
to the farm.
really surprised to see this happen just based on what we heard after they let Tree Living go. And there are some very telling. You weren't surprised? Spencer's shaking his
I'm
head.
surprised it took this
I thought it was
long.
happening like the day they were not in the playoffs anymore.
Did you
Agreed.
see Maloney's
or at the
comments?
trade deadline? No.
So here's what Maloney said. I interviewed 25 players, coaches, coaching staff, training staff, spoke to prominent agents who represent key players on our team, and it became clear to me that we needed a new voice to guide us forward.
Yeah, so
He just
why
seemed
are you
like
shocked?
he didn't care.
Well, and nobody on his team liked him. Like you just said,
so,
the 25
like, A and
people on
B-
the team were like, "Get this guy the fuck out of here," and you're
Back
shocked.
to the farm, sir.
Yeah. Like, guy knows hockey,
No.
but he may not. He just he wanted to go back to the farm. He's tired.
I just thought they would have done it sooner.
Oh yeah,
I thought it would have happened the day after they fired Treeley. That's where the shock value is that it didn't happen sooner. Is that it took this long? But okay, is it though? Because he says, this is again quoting Maloney. You don't want to make it the inmates are running the asylum, so to speak. But the players had some real observations in how their minds we should move forward. It was just one piece of the puzzle. It was really the whole evaluation was the entire organization, both inside and outside. But that is clearly the players did not like him or his coaching style or his system whatsoever.
yeah. But all that he's saying is like, hey, we thought that getting rid of one piece was going to make the difference, but it didn't, and now we still got to clean. We got to clean the whole house. So all that guy's doing is covering his ass from a business standpoint. He probably wanted to keep him because he probably still has to pay him, right? Like now he's got to pay him, and then he's got to pay another head coach, and like that sucks. So from a business standpoint, it doesn't shock me at all that they tried to make it work, but from a hockey standpoint, it's like should have fired him the day they were eliminated from the playoff contention. Because as soon as you're fired, like I don't know, in the NHL, you guys will know more than me. If you have a head coaching vacancy, you can start looking immediately, right?
Yeah, they could hire somebody tomorrow.
So, like, to me, it doesn't make any sense why you would hold on to somebody unless, like, even if you were 80% on him, like, get rid of him at that point and start searching for somebody.
Yeah, I don't think there was any question that the players didn't like him at any point. So I don't understand, like, why do you have to go through all the season-ending meetings with the players? Be like, oh, so yeah, they don't like. No, they don't like him. They didn't
Yeah,
play
if
for him the
anything,
second
it just
half of the
shows that
season.
there's this absolute, like,
what's going on
just
in Calgary? I
confusion.
think is the
Like,
better
it's
question.
hockey.
Like
Canadians are supposed to like hockey. This guy's just like, I've been watching basketball the whole time.
Now, what do you guys think about this though? With the whole Saddle Dome being torn down and they're building a new stadium, they got to hire like a new young gun, right? I mean, there's got to be some swag coming. Like, there's got to be a little bit of innovation coming in there.
Well, yeah, but also they've got to. I mean, he just bowed to as his own words, the inmates are running the asylum. So, like, he's got to find somebody.
He said the inmates aren't running the asylum.
And then he said,
wanted to make that clear.
What did he say? He said the inmates aren't running the asylum, but which cancels out whatever you said right before it.
Very true.
So
very true.
What I don't think's going to happen though is I don't think it's somebody like from their AHL team that they're going to bring up or something. I think it's
gotta be
I do
a
think
name
it's
that
someone
people
young, but I
recognize.
think it's someone outside.
Yeah,
Spencer, who do you think it is?
that's a
I
tough
don't know.
question.
It's going to be a former player, I think.
Do you think?
Maybe
Okay.
a former player gets a chance. Ooh,
Question.
Oh,
Steve Ott.
Yeah, I was just gonna pull.
I was
going to
say, do you think a guy like Steve Ott, because he's been touted as like the next up and coming guy. He's a player's coach. You know, St. Louis is in the shithole. Why does he want to stay there? They're not. They're shit packing everybody too.
They gave him the boot.
Oh, they let him go.
They let go all the assistants.
Oh, okay. Well then, yeah. What the fuck?
Yeah, no, that's literally the name I was just gonna say.
Steve
Ott.
Ott.
It was on the tip of my tongue.
Steve Ott makes a lot of sense up there because
I like that.
Because he's one of my favorite Dallas Stars of all time. He is the ultimate shit stirrer. You needed somebody to get somebody riled up on the other team. It was like, Otter, you're up. And there would be guys that would go in interviews and boldly say, there's no way Steve Ott can get under my skin. And the next game they're slashing him and taking unsportsmanlike penalties. He was like the epitome of the instigator. But I feel like that's kind of how that team. It's almost like they need a younger version of Sutter, like a hard style, like a gritty
I
style,
don't know.
but not a hard ass coach.
I mean, your top player's Hoover Dooby Doo. I don't think he plays well under. I don't think he plays well under that kind of coach.
Yeah.
But no, not the kind of coach. The style of game, like a gritty Philadelphia style of game, but a softer, like a more players coach. I feel like that's kind of the mesh that team, because they have guys like Kadri that they rely on heavily on. Their key defenseman is Uyghur, who's a big puck moving defenseman, but a lot of times he does get beat on slow footed plays from the corner and things like that. So his game is pin and push and things like that. So maybe we'll see. AJ, if you had to pick Deadpool or Snoop Dogg, who do you want to buy the Ottawa Senators? Because Snoop Dogg has all of a sudden thrown his name in the hat, and he wants to change the team name to the Ottawa Marijuanas, which I would be all for.
What a question. Do I prefer to have the guy who kills people as an actor or the guy who has killed people? I think.
Okay, God damn it!
I think I'd rather have Ryan Reynolds, but like Snoop Dogg getting into hockey is everything Snoop Dogg touches turns to gold, right? So like he is on big commercials, like he hangs out with Martha Stewart. Like I think that it would either way would be fine, but I think that Canada, like for the sake of Canada, it needs to be Ryan Reynolds. Because can you imagine if Snoop Dogg just buys it and it's just, oh yeah, we're now the Ottawa Marijuanas, and by the way, we don't actually care about winning the cup. We just want to smoke a bowl.
I think at this point though, what they both touch turns to gold, because you look at what Wrexham just did. Yeah. I mean, they secured a promotion in their first season with them as owners, and they're fully invested in that team, and he's fully invested as a sports fan.
Oh, yeah.
So, Spencer, what do you think about this? Do you think it is, from a business perspective, do you think it's better for Ryan Reynolds? And from from a growing the game of hockey, is it Snoop Dogg?
Because it's Ottawa, I think it's Ryan Reynolds. I think it's better for the game of hockey right now, just because of actually what he did in Wrexham and the eyes that him getting that will get on the game, even in a different country, because of his involvement in a different sport in a different country. I do think Snoop coming to the game would be absolutely massive and a great thing. I don't think Ottawa's the place to do it for him, though. I just don't. I don't think that's the best fit. I don't think Snoop and Ottawa
Seattle makes more sense, or Portland if they're going to do an expansion team, and Portland would,
or Houston.
Yeah,
if we're really talking expansion, like Houston would make way more sense for that group to come into. Because I mean, three white guys talking about this might be a little weird, but Snoop has come out and said he wants to bring hockey back to the black community. That was one of the things he said when he wants to get into this ownership group. And if you want to talk about Atlanta, Houston, like the southern area, that's a better place to do it than Ottawa.
Yeah, but they're not going to do it.
They're not going back to Atlanta. It's going to be.
I'm just saying. I'm saying the South and those cities could all kind of rally around Houston.
They're not going to go back to Atlanta, and I don't think to be honest with you, I don't think they would ever do Quebec City. Based on I don't think that would work.
The Canadian dollar's not strong enough.
They've already pretty much said that the two places it would be Houston and or Portland. Houston would most likely be the relocation of the Phoenix Coyotes. Portland would be an expansion team if they wanted to.
Portland's not getting a team. It would either be Kansas City or Houston, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Kansas City. And it's because Kansas City is growing so fast. And Portland.
Those would be my top two options. Portland, we won't talk about Portland. Portland doesn't need anything.
There's your unexpected expansion segment. It's either going to be Houston or Kansas City. You heard it here on the Flowskate podcast. It's going to be one of the two. But yeah, those I would say you are correct. Houston makes a little bit more sense as far as an ownership group coming from Snoop Dogg. And as far as just the roots of the game and based on where he's from, Ottawa does make, and again,
he loves it.
He is Canadian, right? Ryan Reynolds is Canadian.
Well, and
He's
been a Senators fan.
No, that makes way more sense.
He's been a Senators fan for his entire life, so it's like, yes, please buy it. And like, I think Snoop buying would be sweet, but like,
Snoop's fun, but I think Ryan Reynolds makes more sense. What doesn't make sense is a lot of the shit that happened in these fucking Game 7s yesterday. A lot of this just doesn't. It's crazy. Quick elimination update. Fucking Florida beat Boston. President's Trophy.
Take down the champs.
President's Trophy winners. Best NHL record of all time. Most points of all time. Just we'll get into that. But Florida takes down Boston. We had Toronto take down Tampa Bay. AJ and I both had Boston winning that series. Obviously, that didn't work out. AJ and I both had Toronto winning that series. And then we had Carolina take down the Islanders. AJ and I both had Carolina. And then the one game still left is going on currently right now, and that is Game 7, New Jersey and the New York Rangers, in which I had the Rangers in 7. AJ had the Devils in 7. So one of us is getting bent over tonight. No spit, no lube, sandpaper finish. Then in the West, we had Dallas take care of Minnesota. Both of us had Dallas. We both, unfortunately, had Colorado. I don't think anybody saw that one coming either before the series started, with Seattle taking down the defending Stanley Cup champions. And then we had Vegas beating Winnipeg. Both AJ and I had Vegas. And then I had LA. God damn you, Stu. AJ had Edmonton. So we did pretty well on our picks there. There's the series updates. Now the Game 7s. The Boston-Florida game. The fucking NHL is rigged. I don't even want to get into that segment yet. It's just fucking rigged, man. Because Boston was not in that game at all until they started fucking calling every little thing they could on Montour. It was like the 3 penalties on Montour. Boom, 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 boom. Spencer, is it rigged? What the fuck is that? Because I don't even think it should have gone to overtime.
Yeah, I don't really understand why the refs feel the need to be so involved in game. I don't know if they were told prior to to get nitpicky if a game gets, if a team gets down, call the other team closer. But yeah,
it's unbelievable.
They need to kind of put it's not playoff hockey.
Well,
they're not letting them play playoff hockey.
It'd be one thing if they're like, we're nitpicky the whole fucking game or let them play the whole game. But it's like inside the same period, they're either being nitpicky or they're letting them play. And
yeah, it's in waves. They're either like for a 5-minute period, they're like, we're going to call everything. And then they're like, okay, now we can play for 10 minutes. But 5 minutes left. Nope, not anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been kind of weird.
When you go back and watch that game, it was completely dominated by Florida. And literally until the special teams started coming into play, it was completely dominated by Florida. Listen, referees, I've said it once, I'll say it again. I don't want to fucking hear from you. I don't want to see you. I don't pay money. I don't fucking pay my Hulu bill to fucking hear you and watch you. Get fucking bent. Okay? This is soft shit. This is like watching these NHL playoffs is like fucking playing in Israel. It is so fucking soft. It is absolutely ridiculous. And it's not what playoff hockey is. Literally 2 years ago, before the bubble, you would tell somebody about go watch playoff hockey, and they would almost, casual hockey fans would almost think it was this is too much. Right? But it's what set the game apart from everything else. Now it's just fucking baby shit soft.
I mean, you get playoff hockey, it was no blood, no foul. And that was the best part about it. I mean, as long as guys weren't getting hurt and, it wasn't out of line. I was like, let's just let him play. But now it's like, well, that's a little bit of a hook. It's between the hands. Like, just let him go.
That being said, Boston should have never have let it get to that point. You fucking won 60 plus games. You won 60 plus games and you wasted it all. That's a waste of a fucking season. It is a waste of a season.
Up 3-1 and lose 3 in a row.
It's the most Boston thing ever.
Did they lose 3 in a row all season?
Just like the Patriots in 2007.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's just you know what? You don't win the cup.
But why'd you pull your goalie? Why'd you pull he got you there? He got you there the whole time.
I love Monty, but he might have outsmarted himself.
It just doesn't.
You know what I
make any
mean?
sense.
Like that.
Like I know.
I probably would have gone to Swayman.
I know he got smoked in his last outing, but like he's your guy. You made it clear that he's your guy. You said it's 1A and 1A2, but it's not, because if it was, he would have started sooner, and he didn't. So all you did was say, hey, our guy doesn't have it anymore.
But Spencer, you said you would go to Swayman. Why?
I think they had already lost 2. They needed to change something. You already have your lineup.
It's just as simple as that.
You know that's it. You've already lost 2. You've got to change something. If you've already proven, and I mean, yes, that is their starter, but you said all season that we're fine going to this other guy. Both goalies clearly love each other. They do that stupid jump and hug after every game, no matter who's playing. So clearly there's no goalie controversy on that team. It's just a matter of they picked one guy, but that guy lost 2 games. So I think you had to change something.
I agree with AJ on this one. I think you fucking ride Ullmark. He's a Vezina winner. I don't care if you have 1 in 1A or 1A and 1B. If you have a Vezina winning goalie, you ride him, especially Game 7. He wasn't hurt. There's nothing wrong with him. He had a couple off games. Do
we know that though? Because
we don't
he almost
know that.
sat out Game 1. Do we really know if he was 100%?
They said that he almost sat out Game 1 because the whole team had a fluke, like a bug. So
if that comes out, then that's a different story. If that comes out, that's a different story. If he had like a pulled growing, or if he had, then that's a completely different story. Because fucking Bergeron was playing with a herniated disc.
That's what I'm saying. Is like I thought, earlier in the games, or the earlier games that he lost, he didn't look like himself. But the whole team was fighting being sick. So I'm like, he's probably healthy, and you sat him because he had 2 bad games while he was sick. And if you're our Vezina winning, like if you're that good, you're pissed and you're ready to go show that you're that good. I mean, here's a perfect example: is Grubauer. The Avs kicked him to the curb, and he was just angry.
Yeah, I mean, we might as well get into that. AJ, what happened to your fucking Avs?
Wait, no, hold on. Before we get to that, I think we got to give Bergeron some stick taps, because I think that's going to be the last time we see him. Spencer's calling.
Should we get him on the Flow Skate podcast and he can officially retire on the Flow Skate podcast? Does anybody? I think it's
only fair. Yeah, I'll reach out to. I actually have I'll reach out to some people.
Yes, yeah, Spencer, you reach out through your connects, and we'll try to get Patrice on for an interview and see if he wants to tell everyone he's hanging them up and make that official on the Flow Skate. I don't think he would mind doing something like that for us. If it's true, it could not be.
He's got nothing else to prove. He's got cups, he's got gold medals, he's going to end up in a front office. What does he have to do on the ice still? Yeah,
he doesn't. At this point, why you would want to play through a herniated disc again, because something like that is most likely just going to keep. It comes out every year. He's a first ballot. If Dustin Brown has a statue, give fucking Patrice Bergeron a statue. I mean,
easy. Easy.
I mean, he will be invited to the White House probably in an hour. But
Dustin Brown's statue note. So my sister went to the LA game. Send me a picture of that statue. That designer needs to be fired. It looks absolutely nothing like Dustin Brown.
That's how most
I don't know if
casts
he had
go.
never seen the man. It's like, what are you doing?
That's how most of those casts go.
You also heard it here on the Flow Skate. Spencer's calling for the head of the guy that designed the Dustin Brown statue outside
No, I'm
of the
calling
LA
out the
Coliseum.
head of the Dustin Brown statue. Just the head, calling that out.
Spencer is not a fan of the head. You heard it here. Oh, but anyways, AJ, what happened to your Avs? Give us a little breakdown here.
Ran out of gas. Parts kept falling off. We're driving down the highway and like lug nuts are flying. Well, it was the excuse train is like it was the shortest off season that we could have ever had, with it only being 3 months and a month of it partying and people not having a chance to recover. Landy not being able to come back is obviously huge, but I think the nail in our coffin was Nuke getting caught with some hookers in Seattle. That kind of sucks. We just lost all the gas from there. And then, I don't know. I think that Seattle played, like, if you're the only way that you could beat the Avs is to play the way that Seattle did. So props to them. It wasn't like there wasn't any game that really was like a blowout game in either side of it. And Seattle played a better series.
Spencer, what's your take on the series? As the resident Kraken fan,
I think it was a bad matchup for the Avs. I think on paper you look at the Avs and you're like, well, these are better players. One by one, this is a better team. But Seattle outworked them. It's a weird stat because, obviously series have to go 7 games, but they're the second team in NHL history to score the first goal in every game.
Yeah, that sucks. And
so, I mean, if Colorado has to chase every game.
Yeah, and Game 6 was the only game that the first power play was for the Avs.
But I think missing their captain, missing Landy, I think that was just it's weird. I don't really understand what happened there because it feels like he was going to come back, and I think because of that, they didn't do enough at the trade deadline to probably fill the hole that was going to be left by him. Because I mean, I think they would have gone for an O'Reilly or someone to fill that gap to make the playoff run.
Well, I've heard rumors that they might be trying to go after O'Reilly again to get him to come back here after he's done in Toronto. But I don't think they went after anybody because we were getting people back people back healthy. And like if we had Darren Helm and we had Nichushkin and we had Cogliano healthy, then we have our back lines that score. Like you lose those 1 point, I think it was combined for the last 3 lines all series. Like you can't win an NHL playoff series and not get any scoring from your depth players, period. Like that's just, it doesn't, you could be the best team in hockey. and if you're only scoring when Nate Dogg's on the ice, then you're never going to win.
Yeah, your second and third lines are your most important lines throughout the playoffs because your first lines are going to have to battle,
the other first
through
line
getting shut down, having defensive forwards come at them.
Yeah.
So if you can't get your second and third lines to score, you can't win a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, and I mean, and I've said it in the group chat over and over again. I think Alex Newhook, if he scored twice in this series, we would have won the series because he's in that much of a slump. He's just playing himself out of a role 100%. But like if he scored, the momentum on the bench would have changed because he's a locker room guy. And I think it would have made a huge difference. But, I mean, it didn't happen. So the Kraken are moving on. And I'm a Dallas fan.
We talked about that. Well, welcome aboard, buddy. Welcome aboard. But Spencer Mason and I spoke about that last episode when we said, Spencer, remember we talked about the difference it makes having a guy who's been there, done that, right?
Yeah.
And we specifically talked about Seattle having Schwartz. Now, a lot of the Avs had been there, done that as a team, right? But they were missing that key guy who had been there and done that with, you know what I mean? They were missing that little piece to the puzzle of the been there, done that, right? And when you get a young team, when you get a young, feisty team who hasn't been there, done that, but they have a leader like Jaden Schwartz who has, and he's kind of leading the way, and they're hungry, you can get exactly what we got, and that was an upset of a defending champion. But nonetheless,
I don't know if I would say that it's that they didn't have the guy who'd been there, done that, as much as they had the guys that had been there, done that, and were tired, and they just didn't have.
You're going
through
the grieving process. The stages are hitting you differently. It's this you are now in the denial phase.
I think they're still just too young to play that amount of hockey in 2 seasons.
They're just not.
I've said it, like, Tampa was better suited for a back-to-back run than Colorado was.
Yeah, I don't. And the thing with Landy, it sucks, but it's like I'd rather him be able to play someday again than just maybe play a couple games in the playoffs. And it all goes back to when he got cut in the playoffs in the bubble.
Yeah, it seems like the buck stops there with the Avs is when it comes to Landeskog. Now we will move into our next segment here, but before we do, I need to do something. And I got a new hat, so I need to put that on, but I have to take my headphones off.
I'm a little worried.
Give me a second.
I was uninformed of this.
Okay, so in honor of Christopher Peterson Mason, I do have, if you are watching on the YouTube, I do have my tinfoil hat on. This is our new segment, Peterson's Premeditated Probing, sponsored by Kim Jong Bettman. This is the conspiracy theories. This is where Mason gets to all let it fly. Unfortunately, Ron DeSantis would not let him be with us today. Mason had to do some extra work for him down at Disney World. But here's the deal. Now, again, AJ, you've got over-the-ear headphones. I've got over-the-ear headphones plus a tinfoil hat. So our ears are protected from both Mason and Gary Bettman's dongs. Spencer, you are in the danger zone. So make sure no dongs leak into those earbuds. The league is sponsored by DraftKings. If you need to go to bed on a conspiracy theory tonight, you can go to bed on this. They are pushing overs, and they are pushing games to go longer in order for more prop bets and money to be made on the league. They put the goal banner for the Florida Panthers on the scoreboard 10 seconds before they scored a goal. 10 seconds before they scored a goal, they put the banner for the goal up on the scoreboard.
For who? I do. Like on TV or like at the arena? Because if it's on TV, then that doesn't mean shit. Some intern pushed the button too soon.
It does it. Spencer?
Dude.
Stitch is bamboozled. Stitch doesn't know what to say to that.
TV's messed up all the time. The Chiron on TV has errors in it all day long. So, having the score banner on an ESPN broadcast, who, by the way, ESPN has literally, they've got the rights to the broadcast of the NHL and just have taken a dump on all of it.
Wait, hold on. This is the conspiracy segment. You are not allowed to try to debunk the conspiracy theory,
I'm not.
Sir.
I'm just asking was it in the stadium or was it on TV? Because that makes a big difference.
I don't think it makes a difference. I don't think it makes a difference at all. But I think, and we all know deep down in our hearts, that Gary Bettman watches these games from a Buffalo Wild Wings. Or, no, actually, take that back. There's no way that fucker goes to public. I think, like Richie Rich. Remember Richie Rich? When all the kids go to his mansion for the first time, and the kid's like, "You have a McDonald's?" And he's like, "Yeah, man." I think Gary Bettman has a Buffalo Wild Wings in his mansion, and he's got his own personal waitresses and bartenders, and he goes there and he watches these games, and he's just button mashing like it's 1999 Street Fighter in a freaking skating rink.
I don't know.
Again, you are not allowed to debunk the conspiracy theory segment. This is for the people who cannot sleep at night.
I was going to say it's probably a Taco
theory.
Bell, not a Buffalo Wild.
So that is Peterson's Premeditated Probing, sponsored by Kim Jong Bettman. Speaking of overs, let's talk a little gambling here. Now, we have a couple buddies. We have a couple very good buddies who do quite a bit of gambling. And by quite a bit of gambling, I mean quite a bit of gambling. I think Mikey at one point was betting on cricket being played in the Philippines at 2:30 in the morning. And Spencer, am I lying?
Can confirm.
Yep. He literally was betting on Filipino cricket at 2:30 in the morning. Listen, we want to give some picks to you guys because if we're going to make some money, we want you to make some money. And here's the thing. Everybody rides or nobody rides. Okay, we all know that saying. Everybody rides. All right, so everybody rides. So for tonight, unfortunately, if you didn't check the Instagram, you wouldn't have got the picks for tonight. But for tonight, Rangers money line and under. He had Rangers money line and the under. I am double checking the Instagram just to confirm as we speak. Yes, Rangers money line under 5.5. That was Mikey's picks for today. Now, as you are listening to this on Tuesday, Mikey's picks for tonight, he has the Leafs money line. The Leafs money line, and he has the Dallas-Seattle under 5.5. Leafs money line, Dallas-Seattle under 5.5. I will throw out one for you, and I am on the other side of that train, and I am on the Dallas money line. So Mikey's picks for tomorrow, Leafs money line, Dallas-Seattle under 5.5. I've got Dallas money line. We will see where that ends up. Everybody rides or nobody rides. Either you're on it or you're not. If you're not betting, that's fine. But if you are betting, please gamble responsibly. We don't need anybody putting up a mortgage based on what the Flowscape podcast gave them for gambling picks. Boys, what's going on with the game? Where are we at, Rangers, Devils?
0-0, about 6 minutes left in the first. Refs are heavily involved.
Why?
And I can't say to the status of the calls, but every time I look up, someone's on the power play.
Is it going? Is it like both ways?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, okay.
So far,
Here.
Consistency is what matters. That's the thing that drives me nuts.
If you're gonna fucking call everything on both fucking teams.
The whole game.
It might just the whole game, not for one period, the whole game, not for 5 minutes, not for fucking 10 minutes. Just do it the whole fucking game. It's like they get into these spurts of 5 to 10 minutes or a period and a half of just calling everything, and then they stop or it's fucking wild. That is where we will end this episode. We love you. We appreciate the support. Listen.
I'm listening.
Yes.
We're listening. We're listening.
I just wanted to make sure you two fuckers were listening. Listen, give us a follow on Instagram at the Flowscape Podcast. YouTube videos are live everywhere. Jesus, hold the fuck on. It's this goddamn tinfoil hat. Hold on.
It's cooking his brain.
Jeez, I'd rather have dongs in my ears. Okay. So that being said, that is where we will end the episode today. That was the Flowscape Podcast, episode 6. Peace out, baby.
Later.